Montell Jordan going on the Breakfast Club, yo. Montell Jordan are going on the Breakfast Club, and as you can tell by the title of the video, it's a pretty heavy interview. Like, he talks about his battle with prostate cancer, which we may or may not go into. We'll see. But okay, let me click this up for the video for later on. So, as you can see by the title of this video, Montell goes into his battle with prostate cancer and his journey from music to ministry. And I want to play for y'all the part where he talks about his journey from music to ministry, because of course you know Montell Jordan. This is how we do it. Yeah. This is how we do it. Yeah, that's him. And so he talks about how he goes from that world into the world of ministry. And I've never actually myself have seen any interviews that he's done where he actually talks about it at length. Like, I think it might have been like, you know, a 30-second to a minute thing, and then he moves on to the next. But I've never actually heard him talk about it specifically. So I wanted to play for y'all this clip of him discussing his journey from music to ministry, Montell Jordan, and then we're going to talk.
Yeah. Back then, right?
Yeah.
That's
what
I'm
saying.
I was very conscious.
Yeah.
Very responsible early on.
And you went from R&B, superstar to pastor. Like, what was the breaking point that made you step away from the industry?
I was brought up in church. I was a church kid growing up. And so from that standpoint, it wasn't like, I had this great big epiphany and then, flew to the gospel. It was like literally I was brought up a church kid. And a lot of musicians and a lot of artists have that training ground. It's like a farm league almost for the music business, where people are growing up, they're listening. It's the difference between, between rhythm and blues and soul music. Soul is a little more attached to feeling as opposed to just sonic hearing. And so me going back into ministry wasn't like I'm ready to do this. It was more of a God move of saying, hey, man, you've done it this way for so long. Why don't you try and do it my way and give me the opportunity to show you that what accolades and what verification and validation I'm looking for in man and in people, that God's like, I've already verified you. I've already validated you. And so, so I don't have to work for God's grace. I'm working from his grace. And by me stepping away to do ministry, I found out who I was, because, in the music business, I didn't know who I was outside of music. If I don't have an album, if I'm not on the charts, if people aren't playing me on the radio, then who am I? And so God was like, I'm gracious enough to show you who you are if you never pick up a mic again. So it was during that time I found out, man, I'm a son, and I'm a father, I'm a friend, I'm a giver, I'm generous, I'm all these different things. I'm a teacher, I'm a communicator, I'm a bunch of different things. If I never pick up a microphone again, I found out who I was, and I learned that, music doesn't define me, I define music. And that was like a pivotal part for me to understand that music doesn't define who I am, I define who music is. And then that's when God says, okay, now I can trust you with music again, because now you know who you are.
I was going to ask you, what did you find in ministry that music couldn't give you? And I guess it was just a sense of self?
What did I find in ministry that music couldn't give me? I think that with music, I was in an abusive relationship. I loved something that couldn't love me back. And so literally, I would say, man, I love music so much. I love music so much. I do it for free. I love music. And music never loved me back. Even when I was leaving music to go into ministry, music wasn't like, no, Montell, don't leave. We want you. It was nothing. It was just like, bye, nigga. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And so I learned that God did love me, and he did care about me, and he was there, in those spaces. And so I think what I got from God is I got someone and something that could love me back. And then now I understand that music is something that I can enjoy, I can appreciate, and I can create, but it doesn't create me.
When you man, music is something I enjoy and create, not it create me. Ooh, that's a bomb.
Got into being a pastor. Did you, when you went back to performing, did you feel like I had to take some lyrics out or had to change things up or anything at all, or no?
100%. I literally, the story goes of, when I left the music business, I burnt the plow, meaning I'm like, I'm not coming back. I got all my instrumental tracks. I got rid of everything. I was full ministry for like 4 or 5 years. And during that time period, there was a promoter who kept calling my wife like every single year, several times a year. He would call her, hey, I need Montell, I need Montell, I need Montell. And we didn't even take dudes' calls. Like, we are done with the music business. And then about 4 years in, she finally, takes my man's call. She's like, hey, kind of frustrated, what do you want? He's like, yeah, I need Montell for this concert. I got Key Sweat, Silk, I got this whole big thing, and we need Montell. And she's like, Montell is retired. He was like, yeah, I know, I'm following his career. And she was like, he's a minister, he's a pastor now. He's like, yeah, I'm a Christian too, I know that. And so
wow.
She's like, well, why do you keep calling then? He's like, because my shows are really dark and I need some light. So when he drops that, now we have to circle back and we're like, okay,
wow.
Is there a way that, well, first it was like, okay, well, God, you told me not to sing that song no more. And God said, no, you told you not to sing that song no more. I never told you that.
That's his jam too.
And then I was like, oh my goodness, maybe it was me. I had to get rid of my own idol. I had to sacrifice my own idol that I made it. But God never told me not to sing that song anymore. So I did have to say, okay, what can I sing and what can't I sing anymore? Can I give people nostalgia without giving them something that compromises who I am? And that was the journey of going back and finding the songs that I could sing, changing some words, changing some lyrics, because I'm a changed man. And then that became something that was acceptable, and it's very welcomed actually out, not only for the audiences, but even like the artists that I'm out on the road with. I'm like a pastor to the unpastored in a lot of spaces, because I'm speaking truth and I'm loving them and I'm out on the road with them. I understand what they've been through. I've been doing this for 30 years, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that was part of the journey of, I'm able to change lyrics. I'm able to customize something. Quick story, like when it comes to Let's Ride, that was, a pretty nasty song, masterpiece, Silk the Shocker, strip club anthem, big #1 record, and I'll do that song, but I don't really sing that song. I'll sing the first verse of that song. I literally do about 45 seconds to a minute of the song to instill nostalgia in people. And then with Master P used to go, I get to that part in the song, like, right in the verse, and I go, don't do that song no more because it's nasty. And the crowd laughs or whatever, and I'll tell them, I told you I'm a pastor no more, but I can do this song, and then I just kind of shift. So I'm giving them the song, and just that much makes them feel like they've heard the entire song, and then.
That's a W. That's a W. That is a W, yo. That is a W.